Mumbai and India. So I'm going to start off with this wonderful slide here. This very colorful, very lively, very exuberant. That's how I'd like to always start off with talking about India. We're a very vibrant culture, and it can be a culture shock for a lot of people from the US or otherwise from a lot of other places in the world to come to India and just see so much happening and so much chaos, and but there's still, I can assure you, a peace in the chaos. So I hope you find this presentation interesting, invigorating, and somewhat curious. And if you have any questions, you can always stop me like we do back in India and just ask me questions. I don't know how that would fly with our host, but I think we can make an exception. Okay, so Yang is smiling. That means we can go ahead. Okay, so I think just to give you folks a brief idea about where India is in the world, we're in the Asia continent and we're Southeast Asia, what we call it in terms of region wise. And as you can see here, India is right here in this situation here, right here next to the Indian Ocean. We have Pakistan on the north left here, and then also Afghanistan, if you can see the red and the green. Nepal is right here, and then China in the red. Nepal is kind of sandwiched in between China and India. And then you have Bangladesh with this red dot, green and white, if you can see. And this blue and this orange is still India, by the way. So India kind of like expands outward. And then here's Burma, Myanmar, and then Thailand starts down here. And then Sri Lanka is this humble nation island down below India. So this is where all the countries are situated in the Indian subcontinent. And that's where we are. Okay, so in terms of India and its like state and union territories, we're 29 nations, 29 states, and then 9 union territories, which means the federal government manages those union territories. And then Mumbai is right down here. So Maharashtra is the state that I come from, this blue state down here. It's kind of in the middle and west, and Mumbai is to the very west. And then you have the Arabian Sea, and then that leads into the Indian Ocean down below. And then north, as you can see, is Pakistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, China, Nepal, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and then also Bhutan on the very top, kind of tucked away here in between. So these states are called the easterly state, northeastern states, because they're kind of tucked away in the northeast of the country. It's really inaccessible to go because you see this narrow path here. It's sometimes very hard to go down to Assam and all these northeastern states. But here we are in Mumbai that we're going to talk about today. Mumbai is the economic capital of the country as well. And that's where all of the stock exchange, all of the money, those things happen. Okay. So moving on from states to how we speak and all of our languages, as you must have heard, India is a huge country, obviously, but it has many more languages as well. I heard that there are about 3,000 plus dialects, but we officially recognize about 28 different languages on the currency as well. On our currency, we have all our languages listed down. So these are all the different languages that are there. And as you can see, my state mostly speaks Marathi, which is my mother tongue as well. So Marathi, Gujarati, Hindi is mostly spoken all over India, with many exceptions, of course. And then Northeast has its own different languages, set of languages. So as you can see, like if I went to a southern state or if I went to the eastern states, I would not be able to speak in like my language to them. I have to like go to English or Hindi and then speak to them because all our regional languages are so different from each other. Although a lot of our, where we come from is Sanskrit, which is our ancient language. Most of our traditions and traditional scriptures are written in that language. but local languages are different. Okay, so that's Mumbai. We're down to Mumbai level now, and this is a night side kind of a picture about the Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus. So this is a train station, and it's a terminal train station where all of the trains leave and depart and come back. And this is a picture from one of our Independence Days where we have the tricolor, which is the saffron, white, the blue in the center, and then the green down below on our tricolor. So the saffron is for progress, prosperity, green is for greenery, our agriculture, white is for peace, and the blue represent the chakra, which is by Mahatma Gandhi and his wheel of mobility and growth and the fact that things are always moving. And this is the terminal station. Like I said, you can see that it's very European and very Victorian, and that's because the Britishers actually built this station. They called it the Victoria Terminus, obviously after the name of Queen Victoria. So once independence was given to India in 1947, a lot of reclamation happened in terms of names, in terms of cultures, and this is one of the other forms of reclaiming our culture in the sense that we have started reclaiming names and starting using a lot of Indian names in that sense. But this is the terminus, is very beautiful. It's the night time, as you can see. This is a road down here. A lot of people are going around in the night time as well. And Mumbai doesn't really stop. So if you hear the phrase like Mumbai never sleeps, that's very true. In my opinion, anytime, any day, like literally at 4 a.m., you'll have things going on and people will start waking up at 5 a.m. to go back to work. So Mumbai is never sleeping to be truly to that word. How many percentages of people speak India? I think a most number of people will speak English just because given the British colonialization and also the modernization now. But I would say mostly that would be restricted to the cities. And now it's going into the rural areas as well, where English literacy is just picking up. So I wouldn't have a percentage, but I would say metropolitan cities would totally, speak English or some degree of it, uh, and everybody else would speak the local vernacular language. Yeah, great question. Send them to me. This is a night skyline. So as you can see, it's very lively, of course, very tall buildings because we're a land that was reclaimed by the Britishers. A lot of land was reclaimed and new land was created of sorts. There were 7 islands to start with in Mumbai, and then all of the land was reclaimed to build this landmass that we know of today. So, and you can see here, there's a sea link. So that goes, if you can see all these lights on the water, and that's the sea. So that's a sea link that was developed by the government recently, about 10-15 years now, I believe. And that sea link kind of links 2 parts of Mumbai. So this remote part here, you can see in the background, and then this part here in the foreground. So otherwise, we had to like travel for 2 hours almost to travel that much space, even though it's about just like 10 kilometers, I believe. But with all of the traffic, all of the congestion, and all of the land use, that was very difficult. So they built this sea link that really helped to mitigate all of that traffic and just go by the sea. You can literally go from one point to the other point in like 10 minutes. Uh, so that's really revolutionizing, transport, talking about public public transport, like do people transport with their private car mostly? I would say people go with their public transport mostly. Private cars, yes, but because of all the traffic, it's only the higher or upper middle class that resorts to that. Even the middle class and the lower middle class, literally everyone uses public transport. Trains, like there are suburban trains, much like in New York, and other big cities in the US. So everybody relies on that. And the trains are also kind of the lifeline of Mumbai, popularly known as. So I would say trains for the most part. So this is another festival that we celebrate in Mumbai very fondly, and literally everyone celebrates the festival. All of Mumbai comes together to celebrate the Lord Ganesha festival, which is the elephant-headed god, as you can see in the picture. As you can also see, the idol is really, really huge. So it can go from anywhere from like a few feet to 30, 40 feet sometimes. And there are also competitions sometimes to have the largest and tallest idol, uh, just because, you know, it's fun, and there's so many people that come together. So you can see all these people, you know, standing and trying to pray to the Lord and trying to, you know, still go in the rubble and still trying to make the chaos happen. And all of these helpers, you can see they're wearing hats, can are like standing on the idol, they're worshiping, they're praying, they're helping all the people get by. And this is a time when this is a 10-day festival. So the Lord comes on one day, and then the Lord goes away after the 10th day, just to talk about the reincarnation and that the fact of life will, you know, things will go, but they'll come back, and then you still be, you know, sad with it, but then still be happy with it because they'll come back. So all of that life cycle, you know, psychology playing in as well. And Lord Ganesha is very like fond of everybody, is the problem remover god. So every year when the god comes, Mumbai kind of gets energetic and forgets all of its problems and comes back to life again. You'll have a lot of music playing in the streets. Everything will be blocked for the most part. So it's really hard to get by in this traffic, as you can imagine. Uh, what does elephant mean? So elephant-headed god, we have a tradition in India where there was a story where an elephant head was replaced to this godhead, and that's why you see the body of a human being but then the head of an elephant. So there was a complicated like story behind it, but it just talks about how loyal this god was to the parents. So that's why um, that's one of the characteristics that we talk about. But he also has like a huge belly and like a huge trunk. Talks about like you should take away all your problems, just digest them. Big ears, have a, you know, huge listening skills, kind of a thing. Big head, meaning large intellect, and all those different characteristics. Okay, so you can see this is one of the biggest festivals, but this is the Hinduism festival. But then we also have a huge plethora of other uh, religions and traditions. Here on the left-hand side, you can see a snippet of a church that I used to go to. It's called the Mount Mary Church. This is a church that was built back by the Britishers, by the Portuguese, all the different colonizing forces. And people still pray today to a lot of Catholic traditions and a lot of Roman Catholic Protestant communities. There's a huge community, there's a huge Catholic like Christian community in Mumbai, and there's a feast of the Mother Mary, of the Mount of Mary, that also happens for 10 days. So over the 10 days period, people come to Mumbai and celebrate that. There's also on the right hand side top corner, you can see this building almost, but it also has a minar. So this is the Haji Ali Mosque or Dargah, which is celebrated by the Islam following people, Muslims. And here it's in the water. So as you know, Mumbai is on the coast. So this mosque is in the water, and there's a little bridge that you can have to walk to get to. So you can see all the people, you know, on it, on the bridge in a sky like bird's eye view, and people go out there to pray to the mosque. So you see a lot of Muslim traditions also playing out in Mumbai. And considering it's just a metropolitan city, you have this culmination of different cultures, different foods, different identities, different traditions. So it's like a hodgepodge of different cultures, I would say. And we get to celebrate all of it. Like if the Mount Mary Navina is going on, I'll go ahead and like, attend it. There's lots of different baking products, biscuits and other things that are, celebrated then. And the mosque will have like different non-vegetarian products like meat. So it's a festival all year round, to be honest. And this is just a picture about our the state of Maharashtra and the traditional dance form. So this is called Lavani. And as you can see, all these beautiful ladies are dancing in this traditional sari attire. They have bright colors, they have bright makeup, they have a head garland, and they also have like a nose ring that people wear, and then also a waist kind of a bracelet, sort of. Um, and then all these people are just having fun. And this is actually from a university here in Colorado State where I was at previously, where we used to have a theater performances of all different kinds of countries. So this is from there. This is one of the dance forms. I can type in the name of the dance form, you can look it up whenever you have time. It's very lively music, and it's very lively, very dramatic, obviously, with the Indian culture. And then here you have Priyanka Chopra. This is just to tell you what Bollywood is. I didn't know how to explain Bollywood better than this, although I could have. But this is Priyanka Chopra on the left, and as many of you know, she starred in Quantico recently. She's also married to Nick Jonas. And then this is Priyanka Chopra in Bollywood. So this is from a recent movie called Bajirao Mastani, and this is the whole scene of Bollywood. Is we make big movies, big budgets, about 300, 400 movies, total per year. That's a lot coming from like India and Mumbai. And all of Bollywood, most of Bollywood is in Mumbai with a lot of different studios, a lot of different production houses, a lot of money moving, box office numbers on every Friday. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. You can look up Bollywood music on YouTube and just jam to it or dance away. I generally put Bollywood music on the side when I'm cleaning dishes and doing some monotonous like task or cooking, which is kind of fun. Okay, so I think we're good to get started. For the most fun part, like get in my belly. And the Vada Pav, so we're going to talk about Vada Pav today. Vada Pav is basically this inside thing is called a Vada, and this outside thing is called Pav, meaning bread. And then you have some chutney here, coriander, cilantro. It is oily, so it's calorific. So hold on to your exercise mats and get started. Do you have any questions?
Yes. We do have a question sending to me.
Okay.
Yes.
And most watched Bollywood movies,
Yes.
I would say, are like Sholay. I'll type them in the chat below. A very popular Sholay, like Three Idiots is another popular one.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. That's a good one.
Also, Slumdog Millionaire is probably uh, people must be knowing, but it's a Hollywood movie, so I won't count it as a Bollywood movie.
Yeah. Is there like a specific feature saying like it's a Hollywood movie or a Bollywood movie? What is
I
it?
just think that if it's the producer is like Bollywood, I would consider that like Bollywood movie or like director, because a lot of what happens is like Western world will come into India and create like movies in bad light, and I just like hate that because I mean there are problems, but just talking about problems is not a good way to solve like world issues. But yeah, I can spell the name out. I'm just going to type it in the chat. And this is like a snack. This snack, as I said, is in one of the emails. If you signed up, you looked at it, is very across the board. Like Mumbai people, anywhere across Mumbai, like everybody will have it. Like if you're a pauper, if you're a rich man, if you're a poor man, if you're if you're educated, if you're not, if you're running around, you just grab a snack and just get going. Like when I was in India, just used to grab this and then just get going because it's easy, it's fun, and it's spicy, and it has bread, and it's everything that you would want to have in a fast food. So it's more like a burger in the Western world, but vada pav in like Mumbai world.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for your presentation. But you will be here still because I need you to help Chef Jessie to introduce more about the Vada Pav. Is that how you say it? Gotcha. Okay, Chef Jessie, it's your turn.
All right, thanks, Yang. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Globe Kitchen. I'm Chef Jesse. We've got Miss Laura Dean on the camera today. Thank you so much, Gaurav, for that great presentation and introducing me to Vada Pav. This is such a cool sandwich. You know, my last name's O'Reilly, so anything with potatoes in it, I'm gonna be into. And this is a potato-based Indian burger, I guess, is how you kind of described it. The closest thing outside of India that I can think of is similar to this would be like a croqueta, which is like a potato that's breaded and fried. For this one, we're not gonna bread it with breadcrumbs. We're actually gonna dip it in a chickpea flour batter, and then we're gonna fry it with the chickpea flour batter. So I mean, it's very unique, and it's a really delicious dish. We've got a lot of chilies in it today. It's definitely spicy. If you want to tone it down, you can tone it down. We're going to talk about variations. We're going to talk about complexity. This recipe, I really tried to simplify it to its core kind of flavors to make it as you know, easy as possible to get the ingredients. But you know, if you want to go all out, I'll tell you some other ingredients you could add to it, and you know, you could really explore these. These are really rich, you know, delicious flavors. So let's get into the ingredients here. Let's start down here. We've got some dried red chilies. I have to admit, these are Mexican chilies, but they are dried red chilies. They're called puya chilies. They're pretty spicy. They got a nice fruity character to them, and they're really delicious. We've got some very finely shredded dried coconut. And then we've got garlic, a lot of garlic. So all of these ingredients right here are for our dry garlic chutney. And so it's basically chilies, coconut, and garlic. We can also add some sesame to that. You can also add peanuts to this. And then some people even put in a little bit of dried coriander seed ground up. And so some spices can go into this too. Some people cook theirs. Some people just blend it up with raw garlic. And so there's a lot of variations on this. And so we played around with it yesterday. And I like the way we did it. It's really, really tasty. And it's really easy to make. So going down the line here, we got, this is our kind of aromatic bowl that's going to go into our mashed potatoes. We've got ginger that was peeled and just kind of julienned up right here. Got a little garlic that's cut up, and then green chili. I'm gonna mash all this up in a mortar and pestle together. If you don't have a mortar and pestle, what you could do is grate your garlic on a box grater so it gets all shredded up really fine, and the garlic too, and then just chop up your chili really fine. And then, so these are the chilies that we use. These are Serrano chilies. Some of them are bigger than others. They're a little bit hotter than a jalapeno. Really nice flavor. These ones I've de-seeded, and they are ready. This is gonna be a topping on our vada pav. We're gonna fry the whole thing, and it's gonna go on the top of it. Okay, along with this chilies and ginger for the filling, we got a little lemon juice, turmeric, mustard seeds, and cilantro leaf, and then one potato that was boiled and mashed by hand. One thing I have that is definitely in most recipes is that I don't have here is curry leaves. You got to get those fresh at the Indian market, and I was unable to get any of those. It's still really good without the curry leaves, but you know, it is optional. And then also you could put whole cumin seeds in here. I saw that as well, but it's also optional. This base flavors, got to have the green chilies, got to have the ginger. All right, so down here we've got our chickpea flour. If you're at the Indian store, this is going to be called besan, B-E-S-A-N, or gram. So gram flour, besan flour. And then I've just got a little bit of baking powder we're gonna add to it to help fluff it out. Got salt back here. And then these rolls I got from the Publix bakery. And they're just kind of standard dinner rolls, white bread, kind of fluffy and tasty. And so the roll is kind of up to you. Hawaiian rolls are a little sweet. They're not really supposed to be sweet. They're just kind of supposed to be plain fluffy. But, you know, with this recipe, you can change some things around and it's, you know, you're not going to mess with the integrity of it as long as it's a, you know, deep fried potato dumpling on some bread with some delicious chutney. All right, so let's start with the chutney. We're going to go with that first. All right, I've got a flat saute pan over here. And we're just gonna make enough of this. The recipe is really kind of small for this, so we're just gonna make enough for like 8 little sliders. And so we're gonna do dry roast. You know, this is to your taste too. I'm gonna do like 5 because I think I like spicy. Gaurav, do you like spicy stuff? Are you
Yeah,
a spicy food guy?
I just put in the chat, I was like, love spicy.
Yeah.
So my question would be like 5 of these peppers. Like if you name a level, I know different people have different levels. Like what level are you for this spicy? Like is
What
it
level?
Yeah, is
So
it like
these dried chilies are spicier than jalapenos and they're dried. So I mean, and then we're not gonna put a ton of this onto the finished product. This is just like a little bit of dusting on top. So
Gotcha.
you can also adjust the heat by how much you put on at the final, you know, on the sandwich. All right, so we're also gonna put a little bit of garlic in here. If you leave the skins on, it's really easy to kind of dry roast a few garlics on here. And this dry roasting helps soften them up and it develops some flavor. They'll get a little toasty. And it just kind of helps the flavor become more aromatic too. So you're gonna get a whiff of some chilies toasting on here. And turn it up a little bit. I got about on a medium high. A little bit higher maybe. Oh yeah, I can smell it. You can smell that, Laura? Yeah, chilies. All right. For this one, I'm going to use the dry garlic. But I'm just going to show you how to do that garlic there, toasting it. These sesame seeds have already been toasted, but I'm going to re-toast them just for a second here. Now, when you put the sesame seeds in, if you use the sesame seeds, you want to be careful because they will burn pretty fast. So you want some kind of container to be able to pour all this stuff out into very quickly. Let's see if that's toasting it already. You know, when in Thai food, when they're starting curries, they often toast their ingredients ahead of time too, which it just grows the flavor and it adds this nice aromatic component to it. Oh yeah, this chili smells great. So just doing a little quick toast here. We don't have to go too long. Do a little bit of sesame. It's about a tablespoon. And then we're gonna put our shredded coconut. This coconut is unsweetened. Make sure you get unsweetened coconut. All right. Oh yeah, that's gonna make this good. We don't want this to get like real brown or anything. We just want to kind of get a tiny. Oh, yeah, the coconut smell is just coming up like crazy. It's great. All right. So now we're gonna quickly kind of get everything into the bowl over here. Whoops. Perfect. Okay. All right, so from here, I'm just gonna pull my garlics out. I'm gonna throw them back over. Pull out my chilies. All right, where's that other garlic? Here they are. Woo, it's getting a little hot. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna break off the tops and then we're gonna get the seeds out. So we're gonna break it in half and we're gonna get these seeds out. I'm just gonna kind of tap them a little bit. If there's some seeds in there, it's okay. You just wanna try to get as many out as you can. Let's break this one. All right. So if you don't want to go through this whole process of toasting these and finding these whole chilies, you can use a ground chili. So even red pepper flakes, it's not a great option, but they'll work because red pepper flakes, they actually leave the seeds in. But there's a lot of different chilies on the market that are ground. I definitely wouldn't go cayenne. That's pretty hot. That's way hotter than this actually. But I was looking around in my pantry here because I got a lot of random ingredients, and I found there's like a Korean pepper powder, and it's just red pepper, and it's nice, it's a really nice powder because they don't have there's no seeds in it. So you might have something in your pantry that you can use. It's not going to be exactly the same, but I mean, we're getting the best we can. All right, so one more, and all right, all those seeds are out. All right, so from here, we're going to take our garlic, we're going to put it down into this little coffee grinder. All these videos I watched, all the Indian chefs have all these awesome, cool little mini blenders for grinding up spices and chutneys and all kinds of stuff. It looked like really cool little tools. I unfortunately only have giant processor or this tiny one, so we're gonna make it work. So you just break this stuff up so it fits in there. I put about 4 to 5 garlic cloves. And then
So Chef Jesse,
in.
we don't have a blender. What is alternative choice for us to do it?
No blender at all, huh? Not even like a regular blender?
No.
Oh.
Can we just
I'm pretty sure you can get a pretty cheap blender from Walmart for about 20 bucks. That would be my suggestion, really, like, because to grind up the dried chilies and stuff, you really need a blender. I mean, you could pound away at a mortar and pestle for a while, but that's really going to be pretty tough. And you want this texture of this to come down to be like sand. We really want it to be really, really dry. So here we go. Come on. There we go. Oh, this garlic might be having a hard time grinding it up. I cut the garlic up a little bit smaller last time. This is such a little blender, I might have to have some big garlic chunks left over. All right, let's see how that turned out. Looking a little chunky. Oh, there we go. Oh God, that smells good. Smell that? Such intense aroma. Garlic, chilies. All right, here we go. All right, so some of this garlic is kind of a little bit tough. Maybe I put in a little too much garlic. We'll get it all out in here and we'll mix it up. We get, if it seems a little bit moist, which it kind of seems a little moist to me, we can just add a little more coconut to it. All right, let's take these chunks of garlic out. Oh, wow. That looks pretty good. And also to this, we're going to do a little pinch of salt. Okay. So one thing I was saying, because the recipes I was looking up, they make a large quantity of this, like a couple cups worth, and it stays well in the refrigerator for, a week plus easily. And it looked like you could mix ghee with it and use it as like a wet kind of chutney or like a base for some kind of dishes too. Do you know any other dishes, Gaurav, that you would use this chutney for?
I just have the chutney made up and in my pantry sitting all the time. If there's any food that's like bland or like just missing spice or missing salt, I just add it on the side and go with it.
So it's kind of like a all-purpose kind of condiment then? Like you add it to all types of things?
Yeah, more like
Yeah.
seasoning if you need it, like Italian herbs and spices. You just add stuff on the side and get going.
Yeah. What do you think? Does it look good?
Yeah, I think it looks really good. I think
Okay.
the red color is really popping, so that's fun.
Right. Yeah, it definitely needs to be a nice, vibrant red color, and it should be ground and kind of sandy looking, or maybe like little coarse sand. All right, we're gonna go with that, and we're gonna set this stuff aside. All right, let's move on to these mashed potatoes. All right, so this one, I'm gonna put it into the mortar and pestle. That was one chili, probably about a half to a quarter inch of a little finger of ginger, and then just one clove of garlic. This is just going to get mashed up. While I'm doing that, I'm going to get my mustard seeds ready. I'm going to get my pan ready. I've got about a tablespoon of oil in here, and you want your oil to be pretty hot before you put your mustard seeds in. I'll tell you why in a minute when we get that going. Let me pound this for one more second. All right, I'm going to put this back into our bowl. All right, to the stove. All right, so we got this little pan, all sides, tablespoon of oil, pretty hot. When we put the mustard seeds in, they are going to start popping pretty quickly. And it's pretty much as soon as they start popping, you want to put your garlic, ginger, chili paste in because they'll start going wild like popcorn and hitting you in the face. And I actually tried to do this yesterday in a big saute pan and it went wild and Laura got scared. So of getting burned. So I don't want anybody to get burned out there. And I felt bad that I almost burned Laura. So be careful. All right, so we're gonna just put about a tablespoon of this in. Let's see how it goes. Okay, get a little bit hotter. I like mustard, so I'm gonna go a little heavier. All right, here we go. You see some action there? See them simmering in the oil. So the flavor from the mustard is infusing in the oil right now. And it's also softening and toasting the mustard seeds up. I've got my chili and my garlic, my ginger ready. And I just popped that heat up on high there, so it should start popping here in a second. Here we go. There it is. Okay, here we go. Okay. There we go. So we're gonna turn the heat down now. We're just gonna gently cook our chilies, garlic, and ginger, just so that it infuses in the oil. It gets a little soft. It's gonna get aromatic. We don't need to cook this for very long, but just enough. All right. Looking pretty good. Also gonna add a little dash of turmeric in here. And this turmeric is pretty intense. So I'm not even gonna measure it because it's such a small amount, but it's just a little pinch is gonna go a long way. Especially with this small recipe. Now, if you were gonna make this for dinner for 4 people, you would definitely wanna double the recipe. But I kind of see this as more of like a snack food or like a little appetizer or something that goes along with something else. Maybe would you eat this kind of thing for dinner, Gaurav, or is this really just kind of street food? Like you're out and you're busy and you need something quick.
Yeah, this is more like fast food, and you have like street stalls in Mumbai all the way on all most of the streets. So if you get out of a train station, there'll be one of these places that will sell them, by the street side. Like street food is really good in Mumbai, and this is one of those items.
So how much is it if you bought it from like straight?
I would say like 30 rupees, which is like half a dollar,
Wow.
even less than that, maybe.
So do you all like get it from outside or you normally make it by yourself at home?
So my mom would really tell me not to eat outside food because who knows what goes in there. But as kids and as
Ooh.
teenage adults, we never really bothered, so we just got stuff from out. Homemade stuff is healthy. Who wants healthy?
All right, this is a pretty healthy dish when it comes down to it too. I mean, it's a lot of vegetables. It's not a lot of oil except for when we're gonna fry it. You know, there's no junk in it. This is pretty straightforward. All right, so we're also gonna do a little bit of lemon juice and another half teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt. And then I got about a half of a bunch of cilantro. I left most of the stems out and just kind of rough chopped it. I'm just gonna mix this together, mash it all by hand. I'm gonna mash all the lumps so it's nice and smooth. Okay.
So if this is a side dish, what do you eat with it, like as a main dish?
I just have this as a snack, like tea time. So with like chai and just like coffee, and then as a snack, you have this on the side. And if there's any leftovers, like I'll just have them with rice and like yogurt at night because like the vada, the main like thing inside, you can just break it up and use it as a side for like yogurt and rice to give it a little spice.
Oh, oh, you can side it with the yogurt. That's
Yeah, like yogurt and rice is
oh,
best. And then like I just make when I used to make it in India, I used to just make some more and just keep it for dinner so that I can have yogurt rice and then have this on the side, break them up in like small pieces and then have them as a side.
Okay, so we've got our potato filling. We're gonna let it hang out to the side here, and we're going to make our batter. So for the batter, I've got about a half a cup, oops, of chickpea flour, the besan. I'm gonna do a tiny bit of turmeric in there. Oops. And then I'm also gonna do just a tiny little pinch of baking powder. It's not even measured, and you really don't need much. Just trying to lift the batter a little bit so it cooks really evenly and it puffs up just ever so slightly. We're also going to need to do a little salt in there. Okay, mix this really well. All your dry ingredients. I've got a quarter cup of water. So if you do a cup of besan flour, you're going to do a half a cup of water. And you want to get your consistency right here. So we're going to mix in a little bit of water first. We're going to keep adding the water as we mix. Okay. I'm going to go for all of it. Okay. Gently. The lumps in this will mix out very easily. You don't have to like whip it or whisk it or anything. And it's a little bit thick. I think I'm going to add a tiny bit more water. The consistency of this is hard to describe. Thicker than honey. Probably like pancake batter is what you're looking for. That's actually might be pretty good. On the recipes, it says not too thick and not too thin. I'm like, all right, I can work with that.
that is hard. Like recipe real like that is like hardest for me because I don't know what is it like exactly.
Yeah, so we want it to be runny, but not too thin. If it's like honey, it's definitely too runny. It's more like pancake batter. You're looking good. I think that's good. I'm not going to add any more.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. All right, my fryer is kind of hot right now, but we're going to go for it. All right, so you're going to need to set up a fryer for this too. So the most safest and best way to fry at home is with an electric fryer that you stand alone on the counter. It has a thermostat, really easy to use. If you're gonna fry on the stovetop like me, make sure you get a thermometer. And once you start the oil and start the heat on it, once you turn on the flame, don't walk away. Important. I did that today, almost burned down the globe kitchen. Not a good idea. Laura distracted me. It was her fault. I promise you. All right, so we got our batter. We have our potato filling. Now, yesterday when I was practicing this, I made my balls too big. So it really depends on what size rolls you have. So you want your balls to be proportionate to the rolls. And so I'm gonna go, whoops, a little bit bigger here. So this is what, like a little bit bigger than a golf ball, maybe? Is that about right, Gaurav? What do you think?
Yeah, that's about right. And a lot of
Yeah.
people will have different like sizes because like industrial kitchens will have like huge frying like mechanisms. So they'll just like make huge balls so that they can sell them by like, large quantities. But at home, I think this is a good size.
Mm-hmm.
Anything from a golf ball to like an orange size would be nice.
Wow. So would it just be a giant dumpling with a small roll, or would you have a giant roll with it too?
Giant roll as well.
Giant roll as well. Okay, okay. All right, here, let me take this off. And I think we are ready to fry this. Yeah, the temperature's coming down. All right, so the best way I found for this is to just place your dumpling in a bowl with your batter. Gently cover it up, get it covered. It's important to get every bit covered here. We don't want this to pop. One thing is your batter can loosen up and you'll get a hole and the whole thing will kind of open up in the fryer. So that's the purpose of the batter, is to protect the mashed potato on the inside. Because if you just put mashed potato in the fryer, it's just going to become a giant mess. So the batter holds everything together and gives you a nice, delicious skin. All right, so what I've got is a fork here, and I'm going to use the fork to transfer into the fryer. Now my fryer, it's important to be hot. My fryer is a little bit too hot probably, so hopefully it doesn't burn right off the bat. But it needs to be hot or else it'll stick to the bottom too. So let's see how this goes. There's one. That's pretty good. See if I can get another one in before that one cooks. Tell me if you looks like it's getting brown. Or you can pull it out if you want, yeah. Okay. I'm trying to get 3 cooked for y'all today. All right, so here's one more. I'm gonna scrape the bottom of that fork. Boom. Okay. And my fryer right now, it's at 350 degrees, like pretty much exactly, which is an ideal cooking temperature. All right, here we go. The last one. We'll do 3 for you today. Oops. All right, one more. There we go. Looks like the batter might have come off that one a little bit. How are they looking, Laura?
So
Oh, yeah.
They're looking good. I'm so jealous already.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop a couple chilies right in the fryer.
Ooh, yes, yes. That's a really good twist. I like it.
Yeah. We're just gonna fry them until they're soft a little bit. The skin's gonna bubble up a little bit. Perfect. Very nice. All right. Whoa. Got some bubbling. Whoa, watch out. Watch out. Sorry, Laura, sorry. Laura's getting splattered. You gotta wear a chef coat too. All right, so here we go. It's light brown batter there. This one's looking perfect. Okay. This one's looking pretty good. This one is giving this one another minute. These are looking good. A little fried chili. Okay. All right, let's bring this stuff over. All right, so we've got our rolls here. And so there's other ways to finish this. Some people toast their rolls in like garlic butter. Other people are purists and they just want it plain. No toasting, just bread. I could go either way personally. We're gonna keep it straight up today, and we're just gonna put a little bit of this garlic chutney right on top at the bottom of the bun. Oh yeah, oh, that smells amazing. Can't wait to try that. And then we've got our fried potato dumpling.
Wow.
We can put a little bit more on top here. And then the fried chili.
Mm.
And then you've got your sandwich ready to go. I could probably eat like 4 or 5 of these.
I know, right?
Yeah, easy, easy. All right, so let's build these out. This is so much flavor. You might think like, oh, this looks pretty dry. Like, where's the sauce? And I can tell you that that's right off the bat. I was like, this looks awesome, but where is the sauce that helps you get it all down? And I can tell you that the mashed potatoes are so soft and delicate on the inside that it really just all the flavors blend well together, and it's really, really easy to eat with your hands without getting too dirty because you're not getting sauce all over your hands.
Yeah.
It's a quick food that is really relatively easy to eat and just tons of flavor, and it's just very delicious. Still a little bit more on top here. We'll stuff that chili with some more chilies. There we go. All right, so here we go.
That looks beautiful.
So our final product, the Vada Pav, Mumbai specialty, now made at the Globe for the first time.
Woohoo!
Thanks so much. Yeah. Thanks,
Good
Gaurav,
job,
for sharing this recipe. I really love it.
It looks
And
so good.
yeah, for all you vegans and vegetarians out there, this is killer slider for your football games or, tailgating, whatever you're doing.
Mm.
Share it with
Yeah.
all your vegan and vegetarian friends because it is very tasty. So if you no more questions for me, I'm going to turn it back to you, Yang.
Sure. Is there any other question? Is there anything you want to comment on, Gaurav, on the dish?
Yeah, I think it's really good for vegetarians, and also as Tanu was saying, it's vegan and I think gluten friendly as well. So everybody who has all those restrictions can also enjoy this dish. It's kind of on the high side of calorific like quantity, I believe, because of the oil and the potatoes. But I'm fine with that. Like if you have it once a while, once a week, that should be fine. And I think with the chili, so don't get scared of the chili that, Jesse just fried. So when you fry the chili, I think what happens is all the oil takes away all the spiciness, and the chili just kind of spicy, but still not so spicy. So you can just crunch on the chili, and then you should be fine.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Gaurav.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you,
Thank
Gaurav.
you.